Hello, hello. We're going to talk about reading the directions on the back of a cake mix, and we are going to make pineapple upside down cake. So there are different ways that we can make this. We can get creative, but we're going to use a traditional yellow cake mix. And there's all different brands. These you can even find at the Dollar Tree. So they're super inexpensive. But I want you, as you are going through making the batter, that you follow the directions on your box. So right now I want you to look right here for me, right around here, it says to bake at 350 degrees. Now, if you have a glass baking dish, you want to lower the temperature 25 degrees. So if you have a metal pan or a dark nonstick pan, it should be 350. For glass, you want to bring that down to 325. When you're dealing with glass dishes, you lower the temperature 25 degrees. It just cooks different through the different type of material. All right, and then also for me, it says 1 cup of water. But we're going to add a little extra flavor to our cake mix. So after we drain our pineapple into a cup, we can measure out whether you want to use the full cup or half and half. So for me, it will be half pineapple juice, half water. And this I have not included in the recipe, but if you would like a moister cake, you can get your regular vanilla pudding mix and do about 1/3 of it. I've tried it with French vanilla and I'm not crazy about that. So if you get just the regular vanilla and add anywhere from 1/4 to 1/3, and it just makes it a little bit moister. You can do different flavors, like if you're making a chocolate boxed cake or even just a chocolate cake, you can add 1/3 of chocolate pudding. Or if you want to have a little more strawberry, get some strawberry pudding. Or this would be good with banana pudding even. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to turn on our oven. If I start going too fast, feel free to pause the video. But you should have 1 stick of melted butter. I put this in the microwave. Mine's not 100% melted. That's okay. And then we're just going to pour that into our pan. And there we go. I have a spatula. This is called a spatula. And I'm just going to scrape every little last morsel of that. And as it spreads out, you can see my butter is already melted. It just needed to break down a little bit. So here you can see all nice and melted. And the little chunks, they melt. It's fine. All right, then what we want, so it's 1 stick of butter, which is about 8 tablespoons. And you can melt it in the microwave carefully, or if you use hot pads, your oven is preheating now. You can stick the dish with the stick of butter into the oven, and that way it can melt that way too. But it's just easier to melt in the microwave. Then what we're going to need is we're going to need our brown sugar. So take your brown sugar, and we're going to measure out approximately 1 cup. As you get more used to it, you can kind of just sprinkle it on. But measure out about 1 cup. I like to measure it over the pan. In case any falls, it'll just go right in there. Now usually if you're making cookies, you want to press this down. You want packed brown sugar. But for this, we're just going to have it nice and loose just as it came out. And then go ahead and sprinkle that all across your butter. As you can see, I am just distributing it. Just kind of spread it out. And try to get it somewhat even. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can get in there. You should wash your hands before you start. So if you have not washed your hands, please stop and go wash your hands. If you were preparing this in a restaurant, you would need to wear gloves. But just make sure your hands are clean if you're working at home. All right, now we're going to get the next step. Grab your pineapple. It's better if it's in slices. If you wanted to just pour, after you drain it, you could pour crushed pineapple just on top of this. You could do chunks if that's all you have. But for the pretty decorative stuff, we're going to use pineapple slices. I like to get mine in unsweetened juice or natural juice. Take your can opener. Be very careful with any sharp edges. And we're just going to open this up. That's great practice. Some of you might have electric ones. I'm kind of old-fashioned. All right, so there we go. Be very careful. This is sharp. But what I like to do is put my finger just on top of it to hold the pineapple in place. I got my cup. I'm going to go ahead and drain it. Oops. You just go ahead and slowly drain it. You can do it over a cup or a bowl as well. All right, and just get all that juice out. All right, so now we're going to save that for the cake mix. Carefully, never hold the sides. The sides are extremely sharp. I'm going to put that down and carefully reach in here. All right, so you can see I'm going to put 3 across. Another 3 across. So here you can see it's all coming together. Be very careful because these cans can be sharp. Just place it across. Now I think my can has 10. So this is how I'm going to do it. I have where it's spread out. Let me show you. All right. So I did it that way. If you are making this for company and want to look super perfect, go ahead. I would get another can and do 1, 2, 3 instead of breaking this middle piece into 2 pieces. To make the full 13 by 9 pan, 12 would be the best. But for demonstration purposes, or if you're just making it at home, food does get expensive, so it is okay to do that. But if you are making it for a party, I would go ahead and get the extra can. And then you can make other things too with the leftovers. You can either enjoy a snack with the extra pineapple slices or make it into something else. I have an ambrosia dessert. That would be good in that. I'll have to share that with you guys soon. So make sure you read your directions. If you decided you wanted a chocolate pineapple upside down cake, follow this. All different brands. My brand says 3 eggs. So look for yours and make sure you follow your directions. All right, so open up your cake mix. We're just going to pour it on into a bowl. There you go. And you guys, this is a dessert you can still be proud of even though you used a boxed cake mix. All they do is pre-measure it for you. So no shame in that. Like I said, if you want a from scratch cake mix, let me know and I will get that to you. All right, so we have that. Now we need 1 cup of water. So remember, we're changing it up a little bit. Let's do half and half. So if yours, we could do it this way. If yours is 3/4 cup, do half a cup of pineapple juice and 1/4 cup of water. But if yours is 1 full cup, let's just do half water and half pineapple juice. You can do all, but then it seems to not hold together as well. All right, so I'm going to add in a half cup of pineapple juice. And then let me grab a half cup of water. When you are looking at recipes, the big C stands for cup. All right, and then we're going to need, for me, I need, let's do the oil next. So let's look, sometimes they call for butter. Mine is oil. you want to use like a vegetable oil. It's not good when you use olive oil or sesame oil. Make sure it's vegetable or corn oil. And we need, for my recipe, is a 1/2 cup. Double check what your recipe is for. And I just got to open this up really quick. And just a 1/2 cup, just fill it up to the top. There you go. And next we need, for me, follow your cake mix, I need 3 eggs. So look on your cake mix, how many eggs do you need? All right, so you can crack it on the counter. If you are new to cracking eggs, feel free to do this over, watch what I mean. So you can crack your egg and open it over an empty bowl and then put it in here in case there's any pieces of shell, you can pick them out. I've been doing this for a while, so I'm pretty confident, and I use that for my garbage. Okay, so if you're new, crack it on the counter, crack it in a bowl, make sure there's no pieces in it, and then put it in. All right, so for me, I'm going to just put it in there. And we got our 3 eggs, and super easy, guys. We're going to be mixing this up. Best thing to do is use a whisk or a blender. You definitely want it nice and blended. So like I said, I like to add in just a little bit, not even necessarily a full third, just a little extra flavor. Kind of get that in there, maybe about a quarter. Just a little extra flavor. If you do not have pudding, not a problem. It's just a little chef's tip. So do about a quarter of a, and then what you're going to do is just whisk it together. If you do not have a whisk, you can use a spoon. But we need to do this for about 2 minutes. If you have an electric mixer, even better. But we want it to be nice and fully blended and to get a little extra air in there. As we are mixing it, this is going to make it a little bit fluffier, not quite as hard and stiff. So it's important not to skip this step. It actually makes a difference. You can make the same box, but depending on how you mix it, it'll turn out different. It's kind of weird. All right, so a few more minutes on this. Like I said, if you need to stop and pause, that's completely fine. You can rewind. And I'd like to know, are you guys going to try this with I think a chocolate cake mix. Pineapple upside down chocolate cake might be good. All right, so we have this. A little bit. You'll start to feel your muscles getting a little tired. You can take a break, let them rest. Take a deep breath. Do it for a little bit longer. My cake is starting to get fluffier. You can see it already. And before we put it into our pan, we have our beautiful pineapples. And for decorative purposes, you can get maraschino cherries. Maraschino cherries. And sometimes they have it at the Dollar Tree. Those often have stems on them. I thought I had a spoon. Let me grab a spoon. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put one maraschino cherry in between each pineapple. It's just going to look so pretty. Yep, these have the stem. So this one, no stem. This one has a stem. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Just kind of pinch it, twist it. Sometimes it can be a little difficult. There you go. Try not to get the juice in there. Oh, goodness. I got the one. Let me see if I have a different bottle. Okay, so the ones at the Dollar Tree, those have the stems. And it takes a little bit extra time. These I got at the grocery store. They are a little bit more expensive, but the ones with the stems are really pretty for on top of like a hot fudge sundae. So I like to have both on hand. All right, so then you just put it in the middle. On your broken pieces, go ahead and just lay it there. So here you can see how I just kind of placed it there. Right there. You just got the cherry right there. Just right in that little half moon shape. And we're going to go through and complete all the other ones. Fill in those holes. Try not to get the juice on there. The juice will show up in the cake. So it's okay if you get a little bit. There we go, guys. All right, we are ready for the next step. Look how pretty that's looking already. There you go. I wonder. Let's see. All right, so we have our cake mix. I like to stir it up just a little bit more. And slowly pour it to cover. Kind of work quickly so you can get all the areas and then go back and fill it in. So see how I'm just kind of pouring it in, slowly letting it fill in the gaps. We kind of don't want to disturb it by spreading it out too much. We want the weight of the batter to fill in those holes, because it can move the cherries and pineapple around. All right, so I need a little bit more there. I'm gonna go in with my spatula, get every little last piece, because this is gonna be so delicious. Everybody's gonna want some. All right, then what you're gonna do is you are going to place this in the oven. I need to get some over this. You might need to do some adjustments with the dough or the batter. When it's bread type things, it's dough. A lot of desserts use batter. All right, and then the rest is just going to kind of puff up, cover what we need. It'll fill itself in. You'd be surprised. All right, so got that in there. Kind of give it a little jiggle. There we go. Should be all nice and coated. We're going to put this in the oven and let it cook. For me, got to look on the bottom. I have a 13 by 9. There are different ways if you make muffins or smaller cakes. So look at the timing on your. Mine is 34 to 38 minutes. So I'm going to start testing it at 34 minutes. And a good way to tell if a cake is done is take a toothpick and then you're going to take it and you just dip it in the middle. If it comes out pretty much clean, then it's done. So you take a toothpick, just dip it in and out, straight up and down. You're going to look at it, and if it's pretty clean, then the cake is done. If it's got one little crumb, that's okay. But if it's like coated in stickiness, then it's not done. Let it cool after it's done, and carefully, what I like to do is put a platter on top. I should grab that for you. You put a platter on top and then flip it. So have somebody help you flip it. Or you can just cut into it, get your spatula and flip it. So if it's for company, it's really nice to show them the full effect. So see if you can have somebody flip it. But you want something on top first before you flip it. Otherwise it's going to break and fall apart. It is good to eat without flipping it. But you'll see on the bottom just how pretty it is. Congratulations on making the pineapple upside down cake. Feel free to let me know any desserts that you would like to learn how to make.